Let's go.
Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Sony PlayStation Helldivers 2 controversy. So if you guys checked out my previous video on the channel, we talked about the Sony PlayStation Helldivers 2 massive controversy, and at that moment in time, it was just actually unfolding, and many other things ended up actually unfolding until basically Sony told PlayStation, go on your Twitter account and make this statement. Basically, we are Switzerland, we wave the white flag, PC gamers win. So I just want to make sure I bring this up to a lot of people before we go over that tweet. Do not sacrifice your mental sanity to lick the nuts of a massive corporation that couldn't give a single fuck about you. Keep in mind, this is the same company that got hacked 3 months ago. Remember Insomniac? They're a part of Sony. Sony literally pays them, right? That Insomniac got hacked, all their Marvel titles got leaked. So for people to say, oh, just give them your PSN account, bruh, just make a free account, bruh, it's like, dude, you know they got hacked like less than 3 months ago, right? This is a recent thing. This isn't like, I'm talking about hacks from like 10 years ago. This just happened. Okay? So another thing to bring up with a lot of people is like, they're like, oh my God, why were people blaming Arrowhead? The CEO literally said he knew it was going to happen for months, but didn't say anything at all. And that's someone you guys trust. He literally, in his own words, said, I knew this for months, and I didn't say anything. Third thing, on Sony's terms of service, it was changed to say that, you know, some PlayStation Sony games may require a PSN account, okay? Not what it says right now, that, games that you buy from us on Steam will require you to make a PSN account. No. It was changed. And for someone says, well, terms of service change all the time. Yeah, not that quick, though. Those are something that you have to literally make sure it's okay to change in the company, for the most part, over a decent amount of time. That changed within a week. Okay, yeah, not how that works, actually. I work for a big corporation. I would know these things, actually. Fourth thing to go over is the community managers on the Helldivers Discord, who were basically, God, one of them went out of their way to make you're gonna love this. One of them went out of their way to make a TikTok video about basically making fun of people in the PSN account thing. Remember that? He went out of his way to make a freaking TikTok video, make fun of people because he was trying to do the joke of like, oh, it's a free account, dude. It takes like less than 2 seconds. All right, so the other thing I'll go over is this. You know when people kept saying, oh, well, why are people making such a big deal about the PSN account thing? Okay, all right, let me just break it down for you fucking retards out there. The PSN account thing is not available in every country. People are going to say, well, why is that a problem? I'll explain it to you in just a moment. So, okay, just because you live in America does not mean things are widely always available in other places compared to like this one, obviously. But for video games, it's much more easier to make them worldwide accessible if you have permissions and all that license stuff to be in other people's countries. Now, the PlayStation, actually, the PSN account, you would have to have required to link up Helldivers 2 to your PC or whatever to play Helldivers 2. It's not available in a lot of countries. Actually, they ran the numbers. It was like more than 20 countries plus couldn't have been able to even access the game. And someone supposed to bring up, why is that a problem? I'll explain it to you right now, everyone. Okay, so these people in these other countries paid money to play Helldivers 2 on their PC. Sony was quite literally going to scam them out of money to lock them out of it willingly, because they knew going in they could make an account. It's not available in their country. They were quite literally going to scam you That's a scam. I'm just telling you right now. They would have stolen your money. Okay. The point of a live service game is you're able to play it as long as you want. It doesn't expire. They make updates. That's why people like the live service games like League of Legends, Fortnite and Overwatch and CSGO and all that shit. You can play these games basically indefinitely forever. You can have microtransactions, Sony quite literally was going to scam a bunch of countries, a bunch of people out of their own money. And a lot of you kept saying, well, just make a free account, dude. It's so simple. You would have to be so fucking retarded. My brain couldn't even explain to you how dumb you are. Countries literally couldn't do it. You can't. Okay? So the very big thing that a lot of people kept saying wasn't a big thing was a big thing. I kept loving how people kept saying it's not a big thing at all. It quite literally is consumers paying for something they can't use anymore because it's not available in their country. The biggest thing people kept saying wasn't a big thing was the absolute biggest thing. They were trying to scam you. Okay? You had a bunch of shill journalists, obviously typical Alyssa Mercantes going out there saying some bullshit. Then you had a bunch of people saying, oh, I can't believe PC gamers bullied Sony into actually doing what they wanted. Oh, hardworking people paying their absolute money to this corporation because they like their shit. I don't know. For some reason in my mind, all of us still kind of do this. We still give them our money, our hard-earned money we work for, because we hope fucking someday they'll change, right? Back to what things used to be. And people still do it. Gee, I wonder why those people are upset. You work hard for your money. You kind of just want to play video games just for the sake of it, right? Because it's fun as hell, right? I love playing video games. I play video games, obviously, as you guys know, when I was a little toddler. I love playing video games, actually. So there's so many things to unfold with this, right? All the way from the community managers. You have just basically the complete scam malpractice someone was trying to do with this in general. You got to give credit to Steam there. Steam was actively trying to refund people, trying to make the situation smoother. Credit to Steam there. Steam really did a great job there, actually. And I'll also say, for you Sony console players out there, if you want to lick the balls of Sony, you can go ahead, do whatever you want. But don't expect other people to just sit there and be like, sweep it under the rug. Obviously, you're a major history buff. You know this as well as I do. Obviously, not all war is good. Not all conflict is good. But some conflict is good. Some wars are good. You can't just sit there and just let it run all over you. It's not how that works in life. If you want to sit there and do that, go ahead. Let the other people fight out there for it. But I love when people go, I'm gonna stay out of toxicity because I'm more positive than that. You're fucking a loser then. Because I'd rather actually say how my opinion is, say what and make people know what it is, and fight for things that I truly have always cared about, than doing that thing of like, I'm good, I'm staying out of it, it'll resolve itself. That's like quite literally how things got in this position for people doing that exact thing.
Yep. And what you can disagree on, and I've heard both sides. I am never on the side of a big corporation who wants access to my information for no reason when they don't have to be. But I can understand why. I can understand other people's reasoning. I can understand, well, even though it's dumb, I don't see where it comes from, because I remember the biggest criticism was, well, you give your information to Ubisoft and Steam and to Origin and to Rockstar to play their games, right? Like, yeah, because I'm buying a game from that platform. Ubisoft is different. So there's a lot of Assassin's Creed games that I primarily bought from Steam. And then, but and I can still bring up Steam right now, and I can still play them on Steam. I don't need Ubisoft to access anything. But when whatever that license expired, because I bought something off Steam, I get to keep it on my Steam account. But there are some Ubisoft games that I have had to buy on their specific hosting service. Now I hate how all these different companies have to have a different hosting service. It's bullshit, and it needs to die, because not all of them are created equal. Not all of them are and they just take up space on my computer, and I have to log in every 5 days to try to remember my password in order to play my damn games. I hate it. But whatever. I wanted to play a cheap copy of Far Cry 4, so I went onto the because Ubisoft, sometimes they have publisher sales, and sometimes they're actually better than they are on Steam, but it just depends. So I just paid like $5 for I signed up for their free service, and I paid $5 on that store, so but now I can only play it on that platform because that's where I bought it. That's different than if buying something on that's much different. That I understood that. That's much different than buying something on Steam and then being required to download an entirely different launching software in order to do it. And I have yet I don't think I've done that. It's always been connected to a store of some sort, like the Epic Games Store. I couldn't play Borderlands 3 on Steam for the longest time, but as it wasn't released on Steam. But I was gifted it. I was gifted it through the Epic Games Store by a friend of mine, and I downloaded Epic Games and I started playing there. So there are nuances here. There are differences in approach. There's lots of context to be had, but the dismissive and that's fine. But the dismissiveness of the "just download it, bro" crowd is just utterly insulting and ridiculous.
Even when information was revealed that other countries would have suffered if they did this.
Yes, and here's why that's
saying
stupid.
that.
Yeah, and here's why that's stupid to do. Yeah, that's why that's stupid to do. PlayStation, and I think that PlayStation finally saw I hope at least. I think the Sony finally saw that this wouldn't be the juice would not be worth the squeeze here at all, because again, you're alienating 20 countries worth of players. And thing is, Sony doesn't really have. Sony is a publisher. They didn't have a hand in the development of this game, but that's what a lot of these big big gaming companies, these big AAA companies like EA or oh god, whatever. Not Nintendo. Nintendo is kind of baked into the cake that they're going to be part of the development process, but a lot of times these big corporations act as publishers. They see a game with a concept that they like, and so they want to put their name on it, and it makes them look good. And sometimes they can interfere. Sometimes they can indeed interfere with the development cycle. Just ask Grums or Mark Kern with his Firefall fiasco. Man, but how many times has that happened? A lot, where big corporations are trying to like stick their fingers where they are not wanted. And it's fine if you're part of the development cycle, if you actually are trying to make something that's going to benefit the player. But unfortunately, big game companies, like big AAA companies like EA, and unfortunately PlayStation, don't operate on what is good for the player, because I think they finally realize that, hey, by not requiring this, we open up more than 20 countries worth of player base for this game. Imagine that. I mean, imagine expanding your player base. I thought, according, if you ask a normal community manager, well, community managers aren't normal, let's be perfectly honest. But if you have to ask any run-of-the-mill community manager, they would say, well, it's diversity and it's inclusive, and you're not preventing people from playing the game.
Remember the one community manager that was like, now when this was just unfolding, the lady literally said, now we can make games safe again.
Oh god, yeah.
Lady, if we're playing on PCs, we're not going to be in the same room. Probably going to be in actually a fun, crazy, shocking thing in different houses.
Yep. Well, that's honest, but that's also kind of scary. What that gives PlayStation the ability to do is it gives them the ability to censor or to boot off or to ban or to punish or for anybody for abusive behavior. What abusive behavior? It could be cheating. And the thing is, PC games unfortunately, especially multiplayer ones, are indeed vulnerable, I should say, to cheating, to modding, and because of course they are. But here's the best part about Helldivers 2 on PlayStation: you can turn off crossplay. If you don't want PC gamers. If you don't want to run the risk of PC gamers doing that, and apparently this game is actually pretty susceptible to this. And for instance, I played Left 4 Dead 2. I still play Left 4 Dead 2. It's fun.
It's a fun game.
But sometimes it is a great game. But sometimes I'll get in servers. I'm like, oh my god, what am I looking at? Because someone has created like their own environment or altered it in such a way where I don't even recognize it. So I'm like, this isn't fun. I don't understand. But if you don't want to do that, just turn off crossplay in the Helldivers game screen. You can do that. If you don't want to run the risk of having PC gamers cheat, then you can do that. I promise you, because I've done that with Battlefront. I need to turn that off crossplay with Battlefront 2, because I swear I've gotten like aimbotted. I can't win worth a damn. I can't even get in the top 10 worth a damn. And I'm not bad at that game. I've got probably 200 hours on that game, and I'm not terrible at it, but still, I might be. It may be a skill issue, but still. But at the end of the day,
there's nothing ended up happening. Guy literally asked on Twitter, what do I do if this is not available in my country? The CEO said, I don't know. Yeah. Just imagine that. You have a problem as a customer. You go to Twitter and you're like, hey, can someone help me with this? And the CEO goes, I don't know. This is how you can tell none of this stuff was synced up. This probably just came out of super hard left field. I'm not blaming the entire game dev team or everything, but for some of them to say the things that they did, for some of the CEO, it's very concerning, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
that
how,
was.
how do you play this card, dude? You play this card of like, I knew it was going to happen. I didn't say anything. Might have been NDA, might have not been. And I can't actually fix the issue even when it goes into effect with people or even know what to tell them. It's like, what is gaming anymore?
Yeah,
What
it's not
the hell?
it's not player based anymore, which is why games like Stellar Blade and Helldivers 2 are exploding because they are they are player focused. Like and Helldivers is fun. My brother plays it, he loves it. And Stellar Blade, they came out like we're making a game that's gonna be it's gonna be completed. No day one patches. We're going to be every little byte of data that is on the disc is what we're gonna ship it out as. There's gonna be no censorship. There's gonna be no backdoor. There's gonna be no backdoor covering up with the black triangle of modesty that PlayStation loves to trot out. But it's another thing that's kind of going nuts. And so here's the thing about gamers: we are very, very forgiving. We are very trusting. If you tell us that you are making a game for us, we will believe you. We will absolutely believe you. We will sing your praises even before the game came out. Because again, I'm old enough to remember whenever Cyberpunk 2077 came out. CD Projekt Red had nowhere to go but up after Witcher 3. They had earned so much player goodwill. Everyone loved that game. It's a great game. And so Cyberpunk 2077, the development cycle for that was almost a decade, probably more than a decade, I think. It was too damn long for a game, but you had hardware changes, you had hardware changeovers, and I get that. You had console generations, but generation change, and I understand that can kind of push things back. However, it wasn't until I think like a week, and actually Razorfist did a really good video on this about a week before Cyberpunk was going to launch, which we know how buggy that was already. They had changed the description of the game on their Twitter account to role playing open world role playing to action adventure, and you day and night you can see it. So they did that. This whole time they were making us believe, the players believe, that this was going to be like a multi-dimensional, multiple ending role playing game where your choices matter. That like no Fallout New Vegas is a game where choices matter, you know. Apparently Stellar Blade has like 5 or 6 different endings. But then people played it, and people played Cyberpunk. It was buggy as hell, and it turns out your faction doesn't really matter. The specs there's not really role playing elements in there. No matter what faction you choose, you're playing the exact same campaign. You're doing the exact same storyline. And there aren't any side quests that are cut off from you. There may be different dialogue tree options depending on what faction you choose. But other than that, but instantly gamers are immediately turned off because CD Projekt Red kept marketing this like this is going to be like the tabletop game. There's going to be so many choices you can make. No, it wasn't true at all. And in Cyberpunk 2077, I'm sure is a good game. I'm sure it's fun. But I am not interested in playing it because what I was really looking forward to with the experience that they were telling us it would be ended up not being that way. I'm sure it's a fine action adventure RPG with a lot of with elements in Night City, even though it doesn't take place at night at all, which is weird. I'm just not interested in it. But like all that to say, gamers are a very forgiving lot until you lie to us. Until you deceive us.
And the thing about the whole PSN,
the slightest thing as a deception. So be honest, be upfront. Don't try to sneak anything by us because we are an autistic lot. We will find all the details. Don't try.
And I've told people this: the PSN linking account, for as bad as it was for other countries, wouldn't have been so bad for people that could do it if it was an upfront thing. Like if it's an upfront thing from the very start, people can do with that what they will. But to do it,
which it
3
was an
months
upfront
after,
thing, which actually it was kind of sort of it was an upfront thing, but just barely. It was in their terms of service. It was in, and I think that the CEO had mentioned it at one point. But like again, this is not something you're warning people is coming. This is not something that you're you're bracing people for. You're not being clear up front about what exactly this is. So technically they satisfied it. They technically satisfied their requirement, but only just barely, but not in a way where the community was able to plan accordingly. Because this kind of took everybody out and just kind of came out of nowhere, seemingly came out of nowhere.
And right here, this goes to show you that you need to make your voice heard if you care about something so much, you know? Like, I would say, this kind of goes up there with the whole Zack Snyder's Justice League situation. Except this was actually even faster, because obviously video games are much more easier to make that happen than a movie, obviously, on someone's, like, drives, actually. PlayStation, the Twitter account, put out this tweet last night, 9 p.m. Helldiver fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. What that translates to is, you didn't let us do our bullshit. You called us out on it. You win. It's literally what this basically means.
Yep.
Remember, guys,
this is
if
wonderful.
you're a PC, why would you ever need to make a PSN account unless you literally have a PlayStation 5? Yep. So if I'm a guy that just likes playing on PC, or I like playing Fortnite or League or any live service game like that, why the fuck would I need a PSN account? Mm-hmm. Literally, it's just useless for a company that quite literally has been hacked quite a bit of times. We can go over some of those famous ones, the 2011 one. A lot of you guys brought up the one that got hacked again, where people realized they were working with the MCU to try and make, because they revealed in their internal emails that the main Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield failed so bad. They're like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it, Disney, you can have him now, bro. That's bad.
They had a lot of stuff leaked from Community that was actually pretty funny. I think Joel McHale had like asked for a TV because he got it stolen or something like that.
The one before the Insomniac one, where they literally had content on their PlayStation Plus network, removed it, and when people ask, "Can I get a refund?" they're like, "Well, no, because the content's gone." Basically, inherently just scamming you once again.
Yeah, that was weird. That was some bullshit. Even though there was nothing on there, there was really nothing on that list. I think a lot of people had, because it's all just Discovery stuff. So it's all like reality TV, but still people like to, but so you still bought that stuff. You still saved it on your computer. You still saved it on your drive. So why on God's green earth would you not be allowed to keep it? Oh, hi, City Sweeney. Gamers win.
The comments here were just glorious last night. I had a chance. I saw this when it was first tweeted. I literally saw it when it was like a second on my phone. I should have tweeted under it, but I quote tweeted it like a moron, obviously. Are they actually learning? Master Chief? No.
Who knows?
No, sadly,
Who
no.
knows?
But you never know. Bob Iger said they're going to focus on the MCU's quality now. How much do you really believe that? Oh, Steam should remove these reviews now. Oh God, yeah.
I disagree. I disagree. If you're going to change it, if you left a negative review or a mixed review or whatever, then you need to change that review. Because I guarantee you about half of those, if not 75, if not more than that, probably 75% of those reviews came about because of their announcement. Yeah. So if you're going to change, if you don't delete the review, it makes you look bad. Change your review, change your rating.
Yeah, and this is another comment that I agree with too. Hope this is a lesson to everyone. We have power as consumers. The corporations are beholden to us, not us to them.
Yes, you do. They need your money more than you need their product. Again, you were talking about gamers, especially Steam gamers, especially PC gamers. Our backlogs are more than 50, probably hundreds of games. I've got probably easily 250 games that I bought that they're for pennies on the dollar for different sales that I'm going to go back and play. I don't need to play anything new. In fact, I would rather play something older that I'm probably going to be guaranteed to enjoy. That's not going to pull this crap. It's not going to be suffused with diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. It's not going to be run by community managers who do everything in their power to piss off the player base. I'm not going to worry about it. I could just fire up Star Wars Dark Forces and just play a Star Wars themed Doom clone for about 4 hours. Or I've been playing probably like one of the best games of all time. It has been rated not by me but by other people. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. It's a point and click game from LucasArts, back when LucasArts was actually worth a damn. Like there's so many games like that that I'd rather be playing, and I will have a lot of fun playing over something from a company that's going to tell me how much they hate me if I don't like what they do. Well, then screw you.
And it's not even the company. Like, you go to be a part of these fandoms, these discords, the community managers will make it known, hey, if you do anything we don't like, you're not part of this fandom anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Great people in charge of these communities of games. WarJ tweeted, now everyone can leave Arrowhead alone. Oh yeah, the people that directly also were involved too, but just leave them alone for whatever reason, right?
The company that developed it, yeah. Again, PlayStation published it, Arrowhead developed it, and I do agree with this because I don't. That's not something that something that Arrowhead would have said. Would have made happen unless they were forced to.
As you guys see, the comments here were an absolute just landslide. That's some big old titties that girl got. Holy fuck. Good lord. Now everyone's like, hashtag free Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade.
We're getting there. I think it'll happen.
Maybe
it'll happen.
It's possible.
I mean, PlayStation's already willing to kowtow to players. I mean, Mark Curran again is delivering a physical petition to the studio. He's actually getting it there.
RJ says, thank God you guys bent the knee on this one. Would have killed the game. Yeah, I agree. That would have completely killed the game. So someone said, but there's less players now. That what would you know how games work?
No, there's not fewer players at all. There's going to be more players because you're opening it up to more countries. That's how numbers work.
People in this thread were like, "Oh no, it's not going to kill it at all." Yes, quite literally, having less people playing a game would kill it. It's quite literally why games go extinct.
No, this earns them so much goodwill. I don't know how long they're going to keep it, but it earns them so much goodwill to say, "Okay, fine, we heard you, we understand, we messed up, and so now we're just going to return to the game that you loved." I think it's going to bring I think a lot of people who abandoned it are going to come back. And for me, like for instance, for a while there, I actually wanted to buy it. I was going to wait for a Steam sale, and then I heard that about like, nope, PlayStation's not going to access to any of my Steam library if I want to play want to play Helldivers. Now I might buy it.
Ready to make this message.
Yep.
I love it. Get bent, Sony. Especially comments, celebrating that they did listen, actually, because these companies are realizing you don't have the guaranteed goodwill like you used to. We know this. Movies, quite literally, even based off IPs that are known and have a big fan base, don't do as well. TV shows, all that stuff, do not do as well like they did back in the day. And by back in the day, it could be as early as like 2019 to like fucking even earlier, it's like 19.
4 or 5 years ago. It is
you guys
not
get what I'm
that
saying,
long
right?
ago. Yeah.
You can't just put out something now and expect people to just show up. And then expect them to expect to like kind of shit in their mouths and be like, you better take this. Otherwise you can't be a fan of our fucking game. It's like, bro, that's not how that works anymore. I'm giving you money, not the other way around, actually.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because I tweeted about this. I went to a function on Saturday and I wore a Star Wars shirt because it was May the 4th. Not this one, it was a different one, but it had the Millennium Falcon on it. And I met a 9-year-old, someone that I knew has a 9-year-old boy. So when I was 9 years old, I was obsessed with Star Wars because Star Wars was cool. Yeah. And she asked, and so she was asking the kid, trying to be nice, hey, do you recognize the ship? Do you see the ship on his shirt? Do you know what it's called? It's like, the Razor Crest. I'm like, oh fucking hell. And he didn't. And he said, oh, it's Rise of the Resistance. He's like, no, what's the name of the ship? And then she had to tell him the name of it. His mom had to tell him the name of the Millennium fucking Falcon. And then she's like, yeah, it's from Star Wars. He's like, oh, I don't like Star Wars. I'm like, I about fell out of my chair. And I absolutely, I was like, this is a 9-year-old boy, a very rambunctious kid. So, I mean, you seem like, because again, Star Wars was made for people like that. Star Wars is like, that was for me when I was, I think my dad introduced us to Star Wars like 5 or 6, maybe a little young. But
before we head out of this on Dash, any parting thoughts on the Sony PlayStation Helldivers 2 update?
I think this is a win for gamers, absolutely. And I think more companies and all that to say with the Star Wars thing, if more companies took their audience's preferences and desires to heart and actually gave us something that we wanted to see instead of calling us bigots and racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes and toxics for not kowtowing to them and licking their boots, I think that we would see a much better world, because we had that world for the longest time. It's only in the past really 4 or 5, 6 years when companies have been very antagonistic towards their potential customers. The problem is they're too big for they think they're too big to fail. they are wrong.
Yeah.
And something like this is a big win, because again, it signals to other companies, listen to your customers. They have the money, they have the time, and they have the autism to make your life hell if you forget about that. So
Yeah, and
I think we all win.
And I'm just gonna say this before we close out of this video, is like, oh god, these community managers for these fandoms on Discord.
Fire your community managers. You do not need them. You do not need any of them.
I agree.
Put some developers on there. Like, have a rotating shift where you have one developer be a community manager for a day, a week, or something, and then another developer be a community manager for a week, a day, or something. You don't need people with a PhD in DEI to talk to customers, to talk to potential buyers, to talk to people holding the money, because those people will piss everybody off and make enemies they don't need to make. Companies be smarter. You've got, and that frees up resources to put towards the good parts of the game that we want.
Yeah, I just want to tell people, keep in mind, when you have this kind of thing happen, look at it and go, wait a minute, I actually have more power than I thought, because there was too many people just quite literally bending over in a fetal position to quite literally just take it in the ass from this company. It's like, what is wrong with a lot of you? This is quite literally wrong on so many levels. I was surprised I even saw people even defend them. I thought this was so just like, okay, general consensus, you're trying to scam a bunch of people who paid you money for this out of playing the game. That should have been like, you know what, I might politically disagree with that guy, but I gotta, you're probably right. No, you had people quite literally just like still doing it. They quite literally were trying to scam people out of money you had already spent to lock you out. No, this should have been just like a universal consensus. No, this is not allowed. This is simple. I don't care if you're a PC player, if you're a console player, anything. That is disrespectful to your customers in those other countries that would have not been able to play the game. I'm sorry. That is quite literally wrong on every single standard that, any gamer should be, having as in their brain. You were going to quite literally bat for a company who was trying to lock other people who paid their hard working money out of the game they love playing. Yeah. Anybody that did that, you can go fuck yourself. And, I would say there's other ones on YouTube, but then again, I'm nice now and I'm reformed now in Minecraft. So I will not be saying those things, but just saying, you have more power. Keep in mind, movies, television, and video games, these numbers only get to be dictated by you now. We've seen it happen with all these other mediums. Money's not really there for a lot of these companies now because of the, bad will a lot of these guys have done over these past couple of years. And it actually has impacted their sales. I mean, quite literally, movie Fall Guy that just came out, we're seeing the impact of this a lot. People just aren't willing to just give people money to companies like that anymore, even if it's the portion of the business where it's just the middleman because of just how much has been going on. But this is a step in the right direction, and I hopefully Sony/PlayStation will learn from that. Well, thank you guys for enjoying this video. I'm MSK, Master Swag King. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, hit the subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hit the like button, comment down below, turn on the notification bell. That way you can get notified whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And we'll see you guys later. Peace.